Student Safety Contract. Science is a hands-on laboratory course. You will be doing many laboratory activities which require the use of hazardous chemicals. Safety in the science classroom is the #1 priority for students, teachers, and parents. To ensure the safe science classroom, a list of rules has been developed and provided to you in this safety contract. These rules must be followed at all times. 2 copies of the contract are provided. 1 copy must be signed by both you and your parent or guardian before you can participate in the lab. The second copy is to be kept in your science notebook and is a constant reminder of the lab safety rules. General rules. #1. Conduct yourself in a responsible manner at all times in the laboratory. #2. Follow all written and verbal instructions carefully. If you do not understand the instructions or the directions, ask the instructor before proceeding. #3. Never work alone. No students may work in the laboratory without an instructor present. #4. When first entering the science room, do not touch any equipment, chemicals, or other material in the laboratory area until you are instructed to do so. #5. Do not eat food, drink beverages, or chew gum in the laboratory. Do not use laboratory glassware as containers for food or beverages. #6. Perform only those experiments authorized by the instructor. Never do anything in the laboratory that is not called for in the laboratory procedures or by your instructor. Carefully follow all instructions, both written and oral. Unauthorized experiments are prohibited. #7. Be prepared for your work in the laboratory. Read all procedures thoroughly before entering the laboratory. #8. Never fool around in the laboratory. Horseplay, practical jokes, and pranks are dangerous and prohibited. #9. Observe good housekeeping practices. Work areas should be kept clean and tidy at all times. Bring only your laboratory instructions, worksheets, and lab report to the work area. Other materials such as your book, your purse, your backpack should be stored in the classroom area. #10. Keep aisles clear. Push chairs underneath the desks when not in use. #11. Know the location and operating procedures of all safety equipment, including the first aid kit, eye wash station, safety shower, fire extinguisher, fire blankets. Know where the fire alarm and exits are located. #12. When working in always work in a well-ventilated area. Use the fume hood when working with volatile substances or poisonous vapors. Never place your head in the fume hood. 13. Be alert and proceed with caution at all times in the laboratory. Notify the instructor immediately of any unsafe conditions you observe. #14. Dispose of all chemical waste properly. Never mix chemicals in sink drains. Sinks are to be used only for water and those solutions designated by the instructor. Solid chemicals, metals, matches, filter paper, and other insoluble materials are to be disposed of in the proper waste containers, not the sink. Check the label of all waste containers twice before adding your chemical waste to the container. 15. Labels and equipment instruction must be 15. Labels and equipment instruction must be read carefully before use. Set up and use the prescribed apparatus as directed by the laboratory instructor or the instructions. 16. Keep your hands away from your face, your eyes, your mouth, and your body while using the chemicals or preserved specimens. Wash your hands with soap and water after performing all experiments. Clean all work surfaces and the apparatus at the end of the experiment. Return all equipment clean and in working order to the proper storage area. 17. Experiments must be personally monitored at all times. You will be assigned a laboratory station to work. Do not wander around the room, distract others, or interfere with the laboratory experiment of others. 18. Students are never permitted in the science storage room or preparation area unless given specific permission by their instructor. 19. Know what to do if there is a fire drill during a lab period. Containers must be closed, gas valves turned off, fume hoods turned off, and any electrical equipment turned off. 20. Handle all living organisms used in the laboratory activity in a humane manner. Preserved biological materials are to be treated with respect and disposed of properly. 21. When using knives and other sharp instruments, always carry with the tips pointed down and away. Always cut away from your body. Never try to catch falling sharp instruments. Grasp the sharp instruments by the handles only. 22. If you have a medical condition such as allergies, pregnancy, check with your physician prior to working in the lab. Clothing. Any time heat, chemicals, or glassware are used, students will wear laboratory goggles. There will be no exceptions to this rule. 24. Contact lenses should be worn in the laboratory unless you have permission from your instructor. 25. Dress properly during laboratory activities. Long hair, dangling jewelry, and loose and baggy clothes are hazardous in the lab. Long hair must be tied back, and dangling jewelry and loose baggy clothes must be secured. Shoes must be completely covering the foot. No sandals allowed. 26. Aprons have been provided for your use and should be worn during laboratory activities. Accidents and injuries. Report any accident, spill, breakage, etc., or any injury such as cuts or burns to the instructor immediately, no matter how trivial they appear. 28. If you or your lab partner are hurt, immediately get in touch with your instructor. 29. If a chemical splashes in your eye or on your skin, immediately flush with running water from the eye station or the safety shower for 20 minutes. Notify the instructor immediately. 30. We don't have any mercury thermometers, so we won't talk about that one. 31. All chemicals in the laboratory are to be considered dangerous. Do not touch, taste, or smell any chemical unless specifically instructed to do so. The proper technique for smelling chemical fumes will be demonstrated to you. 32. Check the label on the chemical bottles twice before removing any of the contents. Take only as much chemical as you need. And 33. Never return unused chemical to the original container. You could contaminate the entire container. 34. Never use mouth suction to fill a pipette. Always use a rubber bulb. Our pipettes are disposable, so you'll just use the plastic disposable ones. 35. When transferring reagents from one container to the other, hold the containers away from your body. 36. Acids must be handled with extreme care. You will be shown the proper method for diluting strong acids. Always add acids to water, swirling and stirring the solution to be careful of the heat production, particularly with sulfuric acid. 37. Handle flammable, hazardous liquids over a pan to contain the spills. Never dispense flammable liquids anywhere near an open flame source. 38. Never remove chemicals or other materials from this lab area. 39. Take great care when transporting acids and other chemicals from one part of the lab to another. Hold them securely and walk carefully. Glass handling and equipment. 40. Carry glass tubing, especially long pieces, in a vertical position to minimize the likelihood of breakage or injury. 41. Never handle broken glass with your bare hands. Use a brush in a dustpan to clean up the broken glass. Place the broken or waste glass in a designated container. 42. We will not be doing this, so we'll move on to 43. Fill wash bottles only with distilled water, and the use says it is intended to rinse glassware and equipment. 44. When removing an electrical plug from the socket, grasp from the plug, not the cord, and just yank it out of the wall. Hey, your hands must be completely dry before touching the electrical switch, the plug, or the outlet. 45. Examine glassware before each use. Never use a chipped or cracked glassware. Never use dirty glassware. 46. Report damaged electrical equipment to me immediately. Look for things such as frayed, exposed wire, loose cords, loose connections. Do not use damaged electrical equipment. 47. If you do not understand how to use a piece of equipment, ask the instructor for help before you begin. 48. Do not immerse hot glassware into cold water because it will shatter. Heating substances. 49. Exercise extreme caution when using a gas burner. Take care that hair, clothing, and hands are at a safe distance from the flame at all times. Do not put any substance into the flame unless specifically instructed to do so. Never reach over an exposed flame. Light gas or alcohol burners only as instructed by the teacher. 50. Never leave a lit burner unattended. Never leave anything that is being heated or is visibly reacting unattended. Always turn the burner or the hot plate off when not in use. 51. You will be instructed in the proper method of heating and boiling liquids in a test tube. Do not point the open end of the test tube being heated at yourself or anyone else. 52. Heated metal and glassware remain very hot for a long time. They should be set aside to cool and picked up with caution. Use a tongs or heated gloves if necessary. 53. Never look into the container being heated. 54. Do not place hot apparatus directly on the desktop. Always use an insulating pad. Always allow plenty of time for the hot apparatus to cool before touching it. Hot glass looks the same as cold glass, so you do not know if it's hot or cold. 54. We will not be bending glass, but notice hot and cold glass have the same visual appearance. To determine if an object is hot, bring the back of your hand close to the object, not the palm, but the back of your hand. Okay, so you will be asked to take this contract home and have it signed, and you need to click whether you have contacts or check if you have contacts, are blind, or have allergies. And the agreement, you're going to put your name there, have read and agree to follow all the safety rules set forth in this contract. I realize that I must obey these rules to ensure my own safety and that of my fellow students and instructors. I will cooperate to the fullest extent with my instructor and fellow students to maintain a safe lab. I will also closely follow all oral and written instructions provided by the instructor. I am aware that any violation of the safety contract that results in unsafe conduct in the lab or misbehavior on my part may result in being removed from the lab, detention, receiving a failing grade, and or dismissal from the course. So you need to sign that. And what your parents are going to sign is it says, we feel that you should be informed regarding the school's effort to create and maintain a safe science classroom/laboratory environment. With the cooperation of the instructor, parents, and students, a safe instruction program can eliminate, prevent, and correct possible hazards. You should be aware of the safety instruction your daughter and son will receive before engaging in laboratory work. Please read the list of safety rules above. No student will be permitted to perform laboratory activities unless this contract is signed by both the student and the parent and is on file with the teacher. You signing this contract indicates that you have read this student safety contract and are aware of the measures taken to ensure the safety of your son or daughter in the science laboratory, and will instruct your son or daughter to uphold his or her agreement to follow these safety rules and procedures in the laboratory.